The story begins with a new teacher named Smith, who is teaching in his classroom. As soon as he turns toward the blackboard, a student named Ty crushes a piece of paper and throws it at him. But Smith is actually an undercover agent. He notices it in advance and catches the paper mid-air, then throws it right back into Ty's face. Seeing this, every student in the class is shocked. Ty gets angry and steps forward to fight Smith. But Smith easily takes him down. Then another student named Riggins stands up. Riggins has a weapon in his hand. When Smith asks him to hand over the weapon and he refuses, Smith twists his fingers and snatches the weapon from him. Now the entire class understands that messing with Smith is a very bad idea. The room goes completely silent, like everyone just froze. Smith takes full control of the classroom and begins teaching them. The truth is, not long ago, this man served in the military as a covert operative. His real name is Jonathan Shale. Shale and his team were assigned a secret mission and they were executing it successfully. But somehow, news reporters found out about it. To save their public image, the government lied and said these soldiers acted on their own. They gave them hush money to keep their mouths shut, but they could never work in the military again. Otherwise, questions would rise. After this, we see Shale's wife Jane in his hometown. She's a high school teacher who is very passionate about her job. Jane is calmly teaching her students and everyone is paying attention. But suddenly, there's loud chaos outside. Some students are fighting violently. It looks like they're ganging up on one boy with full planning. Jane and another teacher named Sherman rush to stop them. Sherman manages to break up the fight and save the boy. Jane then talks to the one who caused all this trouble, a student named Lacasse. Lacasse isn't an ordinary kid. He is a powerful leader of a gang called the Kings of Destruction. Jane gently tries to explain to him that what he's doing is wrong, but nothing affects Lacasse. Instead, he threatens Jane and says, "Don't get involved in my business or you'll regret it." Then he walks away angrily. After this, Jane and Mr. Sherman go straight to the principal's office and tell him everything. They insist that strict action must be taken against Lacasse. After all, he openly threatened teachers, but the principal refuses, saying, "Where is the proof?" Jane storms out, saying she will bring proof no matter what it takes. When Jane reaches her car, Lacasse's entire gang has surrounded it. They had blocked the keyhole with chewing gum. Jane keeps trying to unlock the car while all the boys laugh and mock her. After a struggle, she finally gets into her car and leaves. When she reaches home, her husband Shale is waiting for her. She feels relieved seeing him. Jane is incredibly happy to see her husband after so long. Shale tells her that he has been kicked out of the military. They discuss their future, and Shale is confused about what he will do next. The next morning, Jane goes for a jog on the beach, but she doesn't know that a member of Lacasse's gang is waiting for her. As she gets close, he attacks her with a stick. Luckily, Shale was nearby. Hearing the noise, he rushes to save Jane, then takes her to the hospital for treatment. As Jane sat in the hospital, she told Shale that the attack was ordered by students from her school. Shale could see how terrified she was, and he promised her that he would protect her no matter what, and whoever did this would pay. Shale decided he would go undercover as a teacher and rip this problem out from the roots. He began preparing for his new mission. He changed his name to John Smith and applied for a job at the school. There, he met the principal. The principal politely told him that they could only keep him for a short period of time. Smith replied that it's fine. He would do his job extremely well. Along with this job, Smith knew his real mission was to find the people who attacked Jane. On his first day, when Smith walked into the classroom, he realized he had never seen students like these before. They were insane, wild, nothing like actual students. The room didn't look anything like a classroom. Smith stood in front of the students and started taking attendance. And that's when he understood the problem. None of them wanted to study, and discipline was a foreign concept to them. A little while later, our John Smith met Mr. Sherman again in the staff room, and he introduced him to the school librarian, Dylan. During their conversation, Sherman revealed that there was a guy named Lacasse and his gang was extremely dangerous. They had already taken control of the entire school by terrifying everyone. Anna believed that maybe even the principal was working with them. But Sherman jumped in and said the principal used to be a cop. He couldn't be involved in anything like that. But after hearing Anna's words, Smith began suspecting the principal. Later, while talking to the principal, Smith noticed some strange things, like a gold Rolex watch. It was insanely expensive and impossible to afford with the principal's salary. Smith intentionally asked him some provoking questions to see his reaction. But the principal only said, "Focus on your class, not on my watch." Anyway, that evening, Smith reunited with his military team, the same guys who were kicked out of the army with him. They all showed up because Smith called them. and he ordered them to keep an eye on the school. One of his teammates, Holland, refused and said he didn't want to get into this mess, but the rest of them agreed. Next day, when Smith was teaching, the same paper ball incident happened, exactly where the story began. After getting embarrassed in front of everyone, Rory Gass immediately went to the principal to report Smith. Then the principal sent the security guard, Marvin, to Smith's class. But when Marvin walked in, he was shocked to see all the students silently studying. He reported this to the principal, who couldn't believe it. So the principal decided to wait until the class was over. Inside the class, Smith was talking to the students and they opened up about everything that had been happening there. Then Lucas asked his new teacher a creepy question. "Have you ever been stabbed before?" Right after that, some students started showing the knife marks on their own bodies. Their pathetic attempt to scare Smith, but obviously it didn't work. A few days later, Smith was watching some CCTV footage. Suddenly, he noticed the principal walking toward his room. He quickly shut the laptop and pretended to act normal. As soon as the principal entered, he told Smith that some students were planning to throw him out of the school. He advised Smith to apologize to them for whatever he had done, but Smith replied that he would never apologize to any student. When the principal said he couldn't tolerate this behavior, he told Smith to leave the school. But Smith replied, "Sir, our contract clearly states you must give me a 2-week notice before firing me." The principal was shocked by Smith's confidence, and now he began to suspect that this guy wasn't just some random teacher. He ordered his team to verify all of Smith's certificates. The investigation revealed that Smith's documents were fake, and every record about him was completely false. The next day, while Smith was teaching in class, Lucas and his buddies walked in late just to mess with him. When Smith stopped them, Lucas sarcastically apologized, so Smith firmly ordered him to write "sorry" 10 times on the blackboard. Lucas refused to get up. Then Smith said, "Now you'll write it 100 times. Lucas realized he would have to write it because Smith wasn't the type to back down easily. To lighten the atmosphere, Smith asked the students what their future plans were and what they wanted to do in life. Hearing him talk like this, students felt he was actually a good guy who wanted them to become better human beings. His words made the entire class emotional. It felt like someone finally opened their eyes. After class ended, the principal suddenly entered the room and praised Smith for handling the class so well. He then invited Smith to his office for a talk, but before Smith got there, the principal already had a deadly plan ready. He had teamed up with Lucas to kill Smith. What they didn't know was that Smith was already 2 steps ahead of them. He had seen their meeting through the CCTV cameras and prepared himself before going. Smith wore a bulletproof vest and quietly waited inside the library. Lucas and the principal's hired thugs soon arrived. As soon as they entered, Smith attacked without hesitation. Using his combat skills, he took them all down one by one and threw each of them out the window. But one gang member managed to grab Smith's gun and fired at him. Then Lucas told him to shoot the librarian too and escape. When he aimed at the librarian, Smith revealed he was still alive, and he threw that guy out the window to land beside his buddies. As Smith was heading downstairs inside the building, the principal spotted him and acted completely innocent, pretending he knew nothing. Smith played along, acting as if nothing had happened. This shocked the principal even more. Like, how is this guy so calm after bullets were fired and chaos broke out? Meanwhile, Mr. Sherman went to visit Jane at her house. While talking, he noticed a photo of Jane and her husband and said, "This guy, he's the new teacher at our school." At the same time, Smith's team was monitoring the gang's activities. One of them was tailing Lucas and constantly updating Smith on his location. Later that evening, when Smith returned home, he was startled because Jane had already discovered his truth. She said Sherman told her everything. Since she now knew it all, Smith explained that the entire school was corrupted. Even the principal was working with the gang. Smith was now ready to do anything to protect those kids. His team was doing their job perfectly. Meanwhile, Joey asked Smith to come near the port because he suspected a huge drug deal was about to happen. And some members of Lucas's gang were involved. They waited for the night to fall, and then, the moment they found the right chance, they caught the gang members red-handed. Smith pointed a gun at them, ordering them to get down on the ground fast, and then he took away their weapons. While Smith was handling these guys, Joey went to attack the rest of the crew. Right then, Smith's old teammate Holland showed up. It looked like he was now connected to this gang. With a gun pointed straight at Smith, he said, "Fight that thug." That thug was huge compared to Smith, but still, the two of them got into an intense fight. The thug kept landing attacks one after another on Smith, but in the end, Smith struck his neck and kicked him hard, knocking him straight to the ground. Seeing Smith's determination, Holland laughed and said, "You still got the moves, man." Suddenly, that thug charged at Smith from behind, ready to attack again, so Holland shot him and saved his friend. They threw all the drugs into the river and escaped with the money. The next morning, the principal saw on the news how a massive amount of drugs had been found near the river. As he was trying to figure out what went down, he got a call from the drug lord, Crono. Crono threatened the principal, saying, "Give me the money for the drugs I sent." Got it? Scared, the principal rushed to school and started arguing with Lacasse, asking how all this happened. Lacasse told him that Smith was behind everything, but Smith wasn't trying to hide a thing. He made an announcement all over the school that he'd use that drug money to improve the school, and he even threw a pizza party for all the students. The principal showed up again and started threatening Smith in front of everyone that he'd fire him. But by now, Smith had won everyone's hearts. The students were happy and Sherman was fully ready to support Smith. Smith told him, "You're a good man. Stay out of this mess. That principal is also connected with these criminals. These guys are extremely dangerous." But Sherman still believed that the principal was a good man. That same night, Smith was attacked again. 2 gang members chased Smith in their car and fired at him when they saw the right chance. Smith's car lost control and crashed straight into a house. It was a brutal accident, and everyone thought Smith was dead. Right at that moment, Sherman saw some gang members packing drugs in the school basement. He realized this was the perfect time to gather evidence, but the principal saw Sherman's shadow and started chasing him. Sherman also had his student Layla with him at that time. He told Layla to hide and said, "I'll distract them. No matter what happens here, make sure you go and tell Smith everything." Sherman tried his best to escape from the thugs, but in the end, the principal and his goons surrounded him, and the principal personally shot him dead. Layla witnessed everything from her hiding spot, and as soon as she found the chance, she went and told her friend about it. The next day, the news spread all over the school that Smith had died in that accident, and all the students were extremely sad about it. Just then, Smith walked into the school, alive, shocking everyone. What happened? Why the long faces? Did somebody die? The gang members froze like statues. A while later, Smith went to meet a teacher named Wolfson. Smith had solid proof that Wolfson was also involved in this drug dealing. Smith said to Wolfson, "Stop ruining these kids' lives. Help me end all of this." Wolfson refuses to cooperate, so Smith waits for the right moment, grabs him alone, and starts torturing him to extract the inside information. Meanwhile, the gang sees their chance and executes a plan to attack Jane's house. They break through the window and hold Jane at gunpoint. At the same time, that girl Lila arrives with a friend to tell Smith the real truth behind Sherman's death, but the gang members capture them too. A little later, Smith returns home. He already sensed something wrong, but he still pretends to fall into their trap and suddenly launches an attack on the thugs. But there are too many of them, and they somehow manage to restrain Smith. Lucas informs his boss on the phone about everything, and Chrono orders him to finish everyone right now, so nothing gets in the way of their drug business. Suddenly, the doorbell rings. Jane's landlady is at the door. Lucas warns Jane to send that old lady away, make up any excuse. Jane does exactly that. But during this distraction, Smith gets his chance. He stabs one thug in the leg, gets back up, and starts taking down each one of them. Then Lucas points a gun at Jane and threatens Smith. If he wants her alive, he must drop his gun. Smith has no choice, so he throws the gun away. Lucas pushes Jane aside and is just about to finish Smith when Lila's friend picks up the gun and shoots Lucas. And now, every gangster there is lying dead. Smith loads all their bodies into a car and delivers them straight to the principal. This is Smith openly declaring war. He and his entire team begin preparing to storm the school. Soon, the whole campus turns into a full-blown war zone. Bullets rip through walls. The gang has the numbers, but Smith and his men are trained commandos, not amateurs. They start eliminating thugs one tactical move at a time. Meanwhile, Holland manages to capture the drug lord Chrono. He's just about to take him in when the principal suddenly shoots him from behind. Then the principal hides with Chrono, waiting for Smith to walk into their trap. But Smith outsmarts them. He cuts the lights before entering. He attacks fast, fighting both of them alone. As he's taking on the principal, Chrono shoots Smith in the shoulder from behind. But before Chrono can finish him off, Holland, even while dying, fires one last shot to save his friend, killing Chrono. Now, only the principal and Smith are left. The principal sneaks up and hits Smith with a fire extinguisher, knocking his gun out of his hands. He quickly grabs the gun, but it's empty. Smith then uses his bare hands and takes out the principal once and for all, finally freeing the school from this criminal rule. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. See you in the next one.